Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Do I have the audio from my microphone? Because if not, we're in trouble. There we go. Yippee. Alright. I think that's everything. Alright, hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Classical Story Time. Today we are doing... Uh-oh. What is this? Oh, that's the thing. Okay. Alright. Today we're going back to Pax Astra, where we will pick up from last time, where I was going to be funny and do the fascist path, but I had the guy Vicario who he was just like, monarchy is better than fascism. So now I obviously want to do based monarchy, which is the plan. But today is the lore stream. That's really the important bit. Because I am absolutely terrified of lore. So we're going to go over it. We're going to make a timeline for it, too. So if I look here... Yeah, that's the timeline. I just have that as the random date there, just because that's what I generally thought we would beat around. But as we go through, we'll read more about the lore and build a timeline. Go back. Alright, here we are. Yes, welcome to PAX. Uh-oh. No. Load, yes. Load. No. Load. Yes. Okay, let me make sure this is the right one. Yes. Story. Okay, that's late. Yes. Alright. So I think for now we'll just play for a bit, and then once we get to a point, we'll just stop and go over the lore. For now, we'll just play the next bit. I'm going to try and remember the voices I did for as much as possible, but I have no idea if they'll be right. The Congress has passed some new bills. Your first task in the morning is to analyze them. Small Business Recovery Act. Progressives. Small decrease. Yeah, who cares about the trillionaires? This bill establishes a program of economic stimulus directed at small businesses operating in Altara. Its purpose is to support economic recovery by providing financial assistance and incentives to small enterprises affected by the current economic stagnation. The measure seeks to stabilize local commerce, preserve employment, and prevent the closure of viable small businesses during the recovery periods. Absolutely. No, sign into law, yes. Altara National Lottery Act. Ugh, gross. Conservatives like it, so that's interesting. The bill authorizes the creation of a state-regulated national lottery under the supervision of the Altaran government. The lottery will operate as a legal public game of chance with a portion of all proceeds directed to the national treasury. Its purpose is to generate additional public revenue while providing a regulated and transparent entertainment activity for the population. So we're over 50% stability, and I need more money, so yes. Public Land Commercialization Act. Conservatives like it. Communist path -5. Influence minus. I can move 4 influence. Budget Boy, we are so back in business. This bill authorizes the sale or long-term leasing of unused state-owned land to private investors and companies. The measure seeks to encourage commercial and industrial development while generating new revenue for the government. By opening underutilized public land to private enterprise, the bill aims to stimulate economic activity, attract investment, and promote more efficient use of natural resources. National resources. Who cares about the communists? Influence minus. Yeah, we're good. You finish your work with the bills for today There's something strange in the building today. Too much silence. You smell something in there. It's Chrysler, isn't it? Oh, it's Barrius. Barrius is waiting in the meeting hall. Posture straight, expression calm, but eyes sharp. He steps forward as you enter. Welcome back. You had a nice morning back in the office. I handled everything while you were gone. But there have been some problems these past days. Serious ones. We have to talk about the forum, but first I think we should. The door opens behind him opens. Oh yay, it's Vicario. Vicario enters quickly, face drawn, keen tapping faster than normal. He looks alarmed. Mr. President, you need to hear this now. Yes, I was about to report it, Vicario. It is crime, sir. Two major incidents. The first one hit District 2 yesterday afternoon. Two gangs had a shootout in the middle of rush hour on a major highway. Yellow Command against an Itaka crew. An Itaka crew? Okay. Energy pistols, grenades. Oh goodness, we're gonna have to deal with all of the gangs and stuff, aren't we? This guy spent way so much time on the lore. It's too good. It's the game is too good. There's too much lore. Energy pistols, grenades. 3 innocent people are dead. An Altaran family in their shuttle. Parents shielding their child. And a lone driver caught in the crossfire. 12 wounded. The highway was shut for hours. Chaos. The public is furious. District 2 has never been stable, but this, people are saying enough is enough. Governor Arjeed is calling for calm, but no one's listening. Why is this a president? Don't shut up. We must be careful not to stow more chaos in public perception. A wrong step here and we can give leverage to the party for Altara. Animals, we should kill everything. Jeez. Arjeed is a clown. None of this would have happened if he knew how to be strict against crime. Well, no leverage. You're right. The party for Altara is already running hate campaigns against the Itaka and against Arjeed. One slip from us and they turn this into proof that we're soft, indecisive. They will create unrest. They will try to radicalize people even more. But I must say that crime is a real problem. It needs a real solution. The second one, it's worse. District 6, yesterday night. As you know, District 6 elected Darius Sisypho, a conservative member of the PFA. A family was driving home on one of the main arterial roads. A gang of 4 Altarans hit them for the car. During the robbery, the 8-year-old got caught in the seatbelt outside the car. They dragged him through the asphalt for blocks, through traffic before the belt snapped. He didn't survive the injuries. The words hang in the room. The family watched the whole thing. The robbers fled into the alleys, got caught later by security drones, but the damage is done. People are terrified. District 6 is already a pressure cooker. This just lit the fuse. Sisypho has been trying to fight crime with brute strength, but that seems not enough. He claims that the Supreme Court limits his actions and capability to fight crime. This is a tragedy. We cannot treat this like it means nothing. No such atrocity requires an immediate answer. They dragged a child on the streets. No, these people are evil. We need to fight evil in extreme ways. Sisypho is dangerous. We will make spectacle out of this tragedy. We cannot allow it. Sisypho has my support. We must find a way to bend the rules to serve the people. Good people of Altara and punish criminals. We must punish these criminals, but inside the law. We must support our judicial system. This is a tragedy. Agreed, sir. The public won't accept silence. We need action. Strong and clear action. Immediate is right. But be careful. One wrong word and the fire will get even bigger. Truth is, the entire matter should be under the input of your Minister of Justice. You wonder where? Gentlemen, Mr. President, I must apologize for my tardiness. Traffic was horrendous. Truly, one would think the capital's arteries have been deliberately clogged to test the patience of honest citizens. He moves forward, setting the portfolio down with care on the edge of the desk. I'm aware of the crimes. Very aware. What a disgrace. It seems we are descending, slowly but unmistakably, into a state of savagery under this new constitution. Let the last 2 words hang, faintest curl of disdain in his tone. I've already spoken to the local judges in both districts. The perpetrators will be apprehended, tried, and punished to the fullest extent our current law allows. Which is the problem, of course. Under the present statutes imposed, may I remind you, during the transition, these scum will be back on the streets in less than 15 years. Perhaps less with good behavior credits and overcrowding pleas. He straightens, voice lowering, but gaining a quiet intensity. No, gentlemen, I do not wish to divert attention from the serious matter, but I must warn you, there's movement in Congress toward new war trials, a new tribunal. The very idea is ridiculous. 15 years, 15 full years since the war ended, and these rascals are still trying to push the rebellious revanchism. Revanchism? As if the nation hasn't bled enough. The good news, Mr. President, is that nothing has been decided yet. And more importantly, we hold the power to stop it cold. He leans forward slightly, voice lowering to a measured, almost conspiratorial tone. There's a fight going on right now between the PFR and Hope and Progress. PFA and Hope and Progress. Progressives will never get the PFA's votes. They'd rather burn the chamber down than support another round of trials. That means this proposal lives or dies on our approval. Altera United decides. We alone hold the swing votes. He straightens, tone turning decisive. Obviously, we should block this proposal. It serves no purpose except to humiliate what remains of our dignity and give the pact another excuse to meddle. Vicario nods once, cane resting against the floor. I agree completely. The tribunal is a bad idea. It reopens wounds that have barely healed. But there's another opportunity here. He glances at Various and then back to you. The tax reform is coming. It will pass. Both the PFA and Hope Progress want an opportunity to change fiscal policy. But the shape is still open. We can use our votes on the tribunal as leverage, either with the party or Altara or the Progressives. Party for Altara or for the Progressives. It's a clean trade. As silence settles, a darker thought slips into your mind unbidden. If this tribunal truly drags Hannibal to a trial, if it ends with the Grand Admiral who once commanded fleets in the name of Altara in chains or even executed, the streets would erupt. Conservatives would pour out in their thousands, calling him hero, a martyr, the last true symbol of what the nation once was. They would march, they would chant, and sooner or later, those marches would turn violent. Chaos. Real chaos. In that chaos, opportunity. You could ride the wave. Position the party for Altara as the true danger. The radicals who would burn everything down in violence, or turn the narrative the other way. The progressives and their pack masters as the real enemies. The ones who would humiliate a national icon just to settle old scores. Either path could rally the people behind you, give you the mandate to act decisively, to seize the reins when everyone else is too busy fighting each other. You blink, pushing the thought back down. It's only a glimpse, a possibility, at least for now. Gentlemen, Mr. President, forgive me. I've just received word, an urgent meeting with the appellate judges. It cannot wait. He gathers his portfolio with quick, precise movements, already turning toward the door. I must attend. But rest assured, I will be at Congress later today. The crimes in Districts 2 and 6 demand a response. Oh, excuse me. I will be there to assist you. He gives a stiff nod, then exits briskly, the door closing behind him with a soft click. All right. One more tribunal is necessary. Once bury the imperial legacy once and for all. The war was 15 years ago. What is wrong with these people? It has been settled. There will be no more judgments. Gentlemen, what is going on? I'm still processing the horrible crimes that happened today. That should be our focus. I understand the scenario. Let us move to what is next on my agenda. The war was 15 years ago. I agree completely. The war ended 15 years ago. The trials already happened. The guilty paid. The innocent rebuilt. Dragging it all up now serves no one. This is the right decision, in my opinion. Minister Ciro knocks and enters quietly, closing on the door behind him. I know you have a lot to deal with right now, and I am sorry to hear about what happened in Districts 2 and 6. It is truly a horrible tragedy, and I actually have some suggestions to discuss with you before the Congress section. However, right now, I would like to discuss something with you. I will not take much of your time. It is in regards to our military. Sir, as you may have already seen in our terminal data, our propaganda efforts have reached their planned goals. But I wanted to speak with you about what comes next, because the window ahead of us is important. In the coming months, you'll have the opportunity to sit with other nations, to build something real with them, actual relationships. Sir, I cannot overstate how valuable that is for us right now. Every nation we bring closer is a door we can use. We can send our soldiers to train alongside theirs, with their equipment, under real conditions. Officially, it is cooperation, a cultural exchange even. Nobody looks twice at it. And I want to remind you of something. The Pact's heaviest hand falls on our infrastructure. What we can build, what we can field, they have locked that door. But our soldiers, the men and women of our defense forces, can still be trained. There is nothing stopping us from making them better. If we invest in training them, our men will learn how to properly pilot ships and use military equipment. When the restrictions lift, and they will lift, I want Altara to be ready to defend itself. Sir, while you were at the forum, I did not sit idle. I took the time to look for possible partners, groups outside the usual channels, ones that could help us what we need right now, trained soldiers. I found some independent military groups, professional outfits, not mercenaries in the rough sense of the word. They have the equipment, they have the instructors, and they are discreet. Normally, this would be a decision you make from your terminal at your own pace, but the price they offered was too good to let sit. I made a preliminary judgment arrangement. Over 1,000 trained soldiers, sir, for 5 units of budget. Back to being broke. This is exceptional value for this kind of service, and I want to be. Apologies, I had to talk with someone for a moment. Terribly sorry. Alright, so let's get back into it. That is exceptional value for the kind of service, and I want to be clear. There is no thread here that leads back to the pact. This stays between us and them. I believe it is worth taking. This does not sound like a good idea to me. Handling our military some mercenaries, hero. We're not doing this. Yeah, I trust you, Syria. Let's move ahead. Very well. I will sign the contract. Thank you. Cringe. Thank you for your attention, Mr. President. I must go now, but we are all glad to have you back in Altara. Vicario walks beside you down the corridor toward the secure briefing room, his cane tapping a steady rhythm on the polished floor. The next item on your agenda is an interview with several media vehicles, including the Durancian Interstellar Nexus News, DIN, the DIN. One of the largest outlets in packed space. They reach billions. They will not pull punches, sir. Expect questions on the crimes, on the tribunal proposal, on your stance towards the pact itself. Every word will be dissected. Everything here shapes how the galaxy sees you, how they see Altara. Tread carefully. He stops at the door, turning to you. Studio link is ready. You're going live in 10 minutes. You're going live in 10 minutes. I will be in the observation room if you need anything. He gives a small nod and then steps aside, leaving you at the threshold. The briefing room is packed with reporters. Some of them form Altara, but the majority comes from the Interstellar Pact. A glass of water sits on the side of the table. The press conference is about to start. Mr. President, the recent crimes in Districts 2 and 6 have left many Altarans feeling unsafe. How do you plan to address the rising crime wave, and what messages send about the effectiveness of your administration's security policies so far? Our administration plans to treat those criminals as terrorists. They wait with full power and violence to Altaran state. We must treat carefully. There is far more behind crime than simple lawlessness. We must all fight inequality and maintain law and order while respecting our Constitution. This matter falls squarely under district jurisdiction, gentlemen. We intend to combat crime, of course, but as president, I am not responsible for internal district policies. Our priority is to make the criminal justice system actually capable of punishing these offenders. Our laws are far too lenient. It's time to change. Gentlemen, my plan is simple. Apply the criminal law of the enemy. We will hunt down every evildoer and punish them accordingly. Yeah, let's change the laws to be less lenient. The interviewer raises an eyebrow, expression shifting to cautious interest. Is that a penguin? It's like watching old Star Wars and going, is that a bat in the background? This is brilliant. Governor Sisifo in District 6 has publicly complained that the Supreme Court blocks his ability to crack down on crime. Do you agree with his assessment that the current judicial framework is too restricted, or do you believe that courts are functioning as intended? Absolutely, they killed a child. You see, these are not normal people like you and me. They deserve to be treated as animals. Sisifo is an opportunist. He's trying to make a strategy spectacle. I trust the institutions of Altara. I know the courts have the best interests of the country. Sisifo is an opportunist trying to exploit strategy for political gain. That said, there is some merit to the point that the courts are not functioning as effectively as they should. Folks, Sisyphus thinks he's the big hero here, okay? Tell you something. I'm the one who's going to fix this mess, and I'm going to do it in the way nobody's ever seen before. We're going to have the strongest laws. The strongest laws, believe me. The toughest, the best. Nobody does Law and Order like... Oh my goodness, that's... Nobody does Law and Order like I do. I really want to do that now. Folks, Sisyphus thinks he's the big hero here, okay? Yeah, that's brilliant. The interviewer blinks, caught off guard for a moment, then quickly regains her composure. Oh, that's a lady? Mr. President, a lot has been said on a possible expansion of subversive communist ideals to the galaxy. What is your position on your government towards the USS? Communism is a failed ideology worn by losers by the weak and jealous. Those who hate progress and success. As long as I live, Altara will never be red. I like that. You can tell this game was written very well. But sometimes the spell check did not work, obviously. But otherwise, still an amazing game. In a time of huge inequality spread throughout the galaxy, one will find it worth in the socialist theories of Sarksa. Now, folks, I'm not saying we agree with US on every parameter, but there's some value to their ideas. Excuse me. All right, I'm back again. Subversive? What is so subversive about equality, about the will of the workers? Next playthrough is probably going to be... Give me a second, I need to check something. So, can you see that? You can. What is that? Well, I guess you can see the FPS now. That's interesting. Okay, that just popped up. I'll do a communist one next. But right now we're doing a monarchy run playthrough if I can get it. Because the communist one is just so funny. I envision a future where Altara will build a lot like the comrades over at the USS, and I hope we can build a relationship with them, certainly. I'm a pragmatic man. I can assure you Altara is looking for a good deal with everyone in the galaxy. Ah, yeah, that's a good one. We have no interest in image. Some value to their ideas. Now, pragmatic. Mr. President, many questions have emerged after the surprising nationalization of Palanx. Palanix. How many times have I mispronounced things? This is like watching Star Wars or Dune for the first time. It's like, who is saying what? When you look at a word, you don't know how to pronounce it. Fun, though, fun. There's speculation that the Grand Judge Chrysler will use this decision to attack directly your government. Do you fear that a judicial attack right at the beginning of your mandate might come as a fatal strike to your political plans? Chrysler, you think I'm afraid of cockroaches? He can bark all he wants. If he tries anything, I'll defend not only myself, but the interest of the Altaran people. What exactly would be the accusation here? This is outrageous. Altar is getting back what is ours by right. Let's see what happens, right? I believe Grand Judge Chrysler to be a reasonable person, so I'm just curious as you are to see where this river will follow. Yeah, sure. This time, the one to raise the hand is an Altaran news reporter. In fact, you recognize her as the moderator of your debate. Mr. Wait, what? Mr. President, Zalstra emissary at the forum openly spoke about spreading their doctrine across more planets and systems. At the same time, we're seeing a steady increase in Zaltha migrant immigrants to settle here on Altara Prime. Do you believe that there's room for cooperation with the throne, or are their beliefs fundamentally incompatible with Altaran values? We can open to have a multicultural Altara. We believe that beliefs can only enrich our society. Folks, I'm not against immigration, but we must be cautious right now. The planet is already overpopulated, and these people have a very different culture than ours. Absolutely not. They sacrifice these people in their own plans. There's only one God. I will do a theocracy playthrough at some point because that is amazing, amazing answer. I'm sure he's not made of metal. I hope that answers your question. If they want to live here, they will have to change their practices. Altara has no space for religious violence, much less blood rituals. I didn't let them in anyways. Yeah, we have to be cautious about Overpopulation, I think. Interviewer nods once, expression neutral but attentive. There are talks in the Congress regarding a new tribunal for war crimes. If they process uncovers new evidence, it would implicate people close to your administration. Are you worried about what might come out, or do you welcome full transparency no matter the cost? I will not dignify that question with an answer. Rest assured, there is no possibility the tribunal happens. I have no worries whatsoever. I'm going to strive for full transparency. If anyone committed crimes during the war, there will be consequences, no exceptions. Folks, nobody wants more transparency than I do. Believe me, they call me the most transparent man in all of Altara. If we do this tribunal, it'll be the best, most transparent tribunal in history. Tremendous transparency. Nobody does it better than me. Are you referring to my father-in-law? Let me clear. That man has no connection to my administration whatsoever. I have no worries whatsoever. Hmm. There's no possibility of the tribunal happening. Sure. Interviewer tilts her head slightly, brow creasing and mouths eyes. Suddenly the hall goes quiet. Something happened. Mr. President, one more. We just got news that your son Caius is suspended from school for fighting an Itaka classmate, using the word sludge rat. The clip is already circulating. How do you answer for that? Everyone snaps you. Vicario freezes the edge of the frame. So that's what he did last night. Last night, Aurelia wanted to talk to you about something important, but you came home late. Her words from the night before hit you like a slap. I solved everything. Maybe she thought she did, but it clearly got out. Resilience modifier +2. Cool. I need a high roll, baby. Absolutely not. You know this crisis will take a toll on you. Oh! Jeez! Ow! You look at the crowd, their eyes eager, waiting for your answer. Are you trying to weaponize this against me? My son probably had his reasons. If you expect me to cry and beg for your forgiveness, you're going to be. I may say that. This is a personal issue. My family is handling it. I will not discuss my son on a public platform. I simply do not care. I was not aware of the details until this moment. Speaking with my son, immediately addressed this privately. It's the first time I actually heard about this event. This is a personal issue. Interviewer gives a small curt nod, her expression unchanging. Jeez! Stability. Love it. Press conference ends. The lights dim slightly as the reporters spin the pack up. Murmurs and footsteps fill the room. You step down from the podium, Vicario and a few staffers slinking you toward the exit. Celia moves quickly through the thinning crowd, notebook in hand. She reaches you before the security can fully close the gap. Sir, excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I noticed you met with Niran Volstar during the Reconstruction Forum. This isn't part of the interview, but I've been conducting an investigation for a piece regarding this man, and security steps in smoothly, one agent placing a gentle but firm hand on her shoulder, indicating that the conference is over. Celia's eyes flick towards them, then back to you for half a second, clearly frustrated. She gives you a card. It contains her contact number. Before you can say anything, she's guided outside of the briefing room. Vicario approaches you, unaware of the strange situation that just went on. Vicario walks beside you down the corridor, his cane tapping a steady rhythm against the polished floor. Mr. President, we need to organize our schedule for the week. There's a lot to solve and time is short. First, Congress is awaiting your input to a schedule special sessions on public security. The crimes in District 2 and 6 have the public on edge. And both Governors Sisifo and Arajid are already making statements. As soon as you're ready, I will organize the dates for the special session. Additionally, Mr. President, we must remember that the Day of Hope is coming very soon, only a matter of weeks from now. The great festival will be held here in the capital, as always. In the old days, that usually meant the presence of the doctrine. Which brings us to our second item. He slows slightly, his voice lowering. For the past 15 years, the doctrine has virtually disappeared from everyday life. It faded within the empire, pushed aside by the transition and the Pax oversight. But a grand priest, Horatius, has been preaching again, to a small but very enthusiastic core of followers. He still holds real authority among those who remember the old ways, and he has asked for your presence personally. It seems he has an important offer. Oh, goody. You hold the card containing Celia's number. You also remember to call her when you have time to understand what she wanted to ask about Niran. Oh, so I have to deal with all of these. That can wait till last, actually. Congress first. You arrive at Congress building under heavy security, the grand steps lined with reporters and a restless crowd. People are angry, begging for action, but you know very well that desperate people can be the most dangerous. Ciro is waiting at the private side entrance, arms crossed, uniform sharp. His face is calm, almost gentle in the way he nods to you, but his eyes carry the same quiet storm you've seen before. He follows in, step beside you as you walk the empty corridor toward the chamber doors.
Mr. President, it's good to see you again. The session's about to start. They're going to tear each other apart in there, sir. It does not look good.
He pauses at a turn in the hallway, lowering his voice further.
If you want to hear my opinion, if we had a real military, not this neutered thing the Pact left us, we could end this tomorrow. Send the army to District 2 and 6, clear the gangs, secure the streets, but we don't. We're still on the leash.
He exhales slowly, not angry, just tired, resigned.
I'm just saying, Mr. President, we need to pacify these regions, and if only we had a proper army. I'm asking for the tools to do the job, that's all.
He stops just outside the chamber doors, turning to face you fully. This is not your jurisdiction, Zero. Yeah, I mean, force is kind of warranted at this point. Zero's face hardens slightly, a faint, almost relieved smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. He exhales through his nose, shoulders squaring.
Good, that's what I needed to hear.
Mr. President, the Minister of Justice is here to discuss strategy with you. I'll remain present throughout the meeting. If anything goes wrong, I'll handle the damage control. Jarius approaches, no greeting, just steps in close enough that no one else hears.
They dragged a child across the asphalt for blocks, 8 years old. And at District 2, terrorism, 40 people dead, a shootout in the middle of a major highway. This is what we're dealing with right now.
He adjusts his sleeve, calm again.
Sisypho will make a show of it. He'll scream about order, strength. He will use this to make the PFA stronger. Let him. He's useful today.
He steps slightly closer.
Archie will do the opposite. He'll talk about restraint. He'll sell fairy tales. He is an Itaka. He wants to protect his own.
A faint, dry breath.
He's already losing control of his district. We can push for an intervention later on. Replace him with someone who can actually do the job. Our real problem is Krister.
Now his tone sharpens.
He is always watching. He will block anything that crosses his interpretation of Pact law. But we want that. He will do it publicly. We'll expect you to accept it.
Silence for a second.
We don't have to. We can force the vote anyway, starting with our party. Capital punishment. Immediate authorization for extreme sentencing. He will strike it down naturally. You might think the vote is useless. Do it anyway.
His eyes stay on you.
Make him be the one who stops it, in front of everyone. Or go further. Challenge his authority directly. Say it clearly. His court does not rule this government.
No emotion in the delivery.
There will be consequences.
Slight nod.
But right now, people want to see who's in control.
You want me to get impeached? It's time to challenge the Constitution. I have my own plan, trust me. Well, this is gonna get stupid, isn't it? Jarius goes still for a second, then a small nod.
Good. Force the vote. Make it extreme. Leave no room for interpretation. Today we will find the limits of this court.
The room is already loud. Conversations overlap. Tension in the air. Hago strikes the deck once. Order! Noise lowers, but doesn't disappear completely. Order in the chamber! A second strike, the room settles. He looks across the assembly, composed. This session is now in order. A brief pause. We convene today in response to 2 incidents reported in Districts 2 and 3 and Districts 2 and 6. Both events resulted in civilian casualties and have raised serious concerns regarding public safety. He glances briefly at his panel, then continues. Authorities have confirmed that all individuals involved here have been identified and detained. There is at this time no active threat related to these incidents. A short pause. The purpose of this session is to address the current security situation, assess the institutional response, and determine appropriate measures to ensure stability. His tone does not change. Members are expected to maintain order and adhere to procedural rules throughout the proceedings. Final look across the chamber. The floor will proceed under standard rules of recognition. The chair now recognizes Governor Sisypho. Sisypho stands at the podium, back straight, voice calm at first, but the anger simmered underneath like a blade being slowly drawn. Gentlemen, good morning. I will keep things plain. We're not here because of 2 unfortunate incidents. We are here today because Altara is facing a civilizational crisis. For centuries, we lived under order, under peace, under a clear system of law and order that told every man his place and every man his duty. We forgot one simple truth. Order is not granted. Security is not a right. It is earned through strength, discipline, and the willingness to punish those who would destroy both. After the war, we went the opposite path. We softened the laws into the systems that are established by the Pact. We opened the borders. We embraced weakness. And now the bill has arrived. 2 districts, 2 massacres.
A child dragged across the asphalt until his body tore apart. Families burned alive in their shuttles on the public highway. To some of you seated here, these are merely symptoms. Perhaps the criminals lacked opportunities. Perhaps if we had given them more welfare and more shiny programs, they would have behaved more like civilized men. Perhaps deep down they're simply misunderstood. Fairy tales. The truth is simple. Criminals have no fear left. And you know why? Because for the past 15 years we taught them there are no consequences to their evil actions. We taught them the state is soft. We taught them that we see them as the real victims, deserving of almost eternal compassion. Let me give you the numbers, since facts seem to offend certain people. Last year alone in District 6, 1.2 million violent criminals were arrested. Over 900,000 were released within 6 months, and 650,000 of them reoffended, some within weeks. Repeat offenders committed 75% of all serious crimes. It is quite funny. I'm called a punitivist by some of my colleagues here. But are we truly punishing anyone? It is as if defending the innocent became some radical ideology. Now you must make no mistake the type of man I am. I do not miss the Empire. I am not a man of extremisms. But I will say this, and I will not apologize for it. We are no longer fighting crime. These people are evil, and we do not negotiate with evil. For evil does not respond to understanding. It responds to force. If we do not have the courage to restore order, real, uncompromising order, then we deserve everything that is coming for us. In fact, I will go further.
His speech escalates. Pav is preparing to interrupt him. No, you don't get to do that. Excuse me, what? You don't get to stand there and turn this into your campaign speech. She's already on her feet. A child is dead, and you're using it to push this fascist obsession with force. Voices start overlapping. A few shouts. Order in the chamber. You see Hagos has no condition in keeping order. You can bring order, state your own view, or let chaos unfold. It's still his turn to talk, yeah. Pavis gets silenced, her microphone cut. You can see that every member of the Hope and Progress is unsatisfied with your efficiency. I don't care. Mr. President, members of Congress. Small pause. What happened in District 2 was a failure. My failure. Silence in parts of the chamber. People died on a public highway in the middle of the day. This is Oh, is that? Is that the slime dude? My son made fun of the slime people. Oh no. This is unacceptable. A brief pause. And my administration takes full responsibility for it. This cannot happen again. You can all be sure I'm working on safety measures. He lets that sit. The individuals involved haven't been identified. They are in custody. They will be judged. But they will be judged according to our laws. He looks across the chamber. I understand that many of you are angry. Many of you are afraid. A pause. But if we try to solve these problems with anger and wrath, believe me, things will just get worse. I fully disagree with the words of Governor Sisypho. There's no such thing as a person born to be this. No one wakes up wanting a life of crime. It is childish to think that we are dealing with pure evil here. Murmurs. These people deserve punishment. I am not excusing them. But we are not dealing with some sort of pure evil here, but simply the effects of inequality. Before being elected governor, I spent the 15 years of the transition doing community work in District 2. It is rough out there. Some of these people, they literally have no food to eat.
You say literally?
The slime man said literally. Oh, goodness. The concept might sound alien to you, but for someone to be led into a gang, for someone to decide to risk their own lives into a life of crime, they must be desperate. If we refuse to understand that, we'll be kept standing here again and again. He steadies himself. You can kill or imprison as many people as you want, but if we do not deal with the core problems, crime will always exist. And regarding xenophobic comments on the fact that criminals were from an Itaka game, I am an Itaka and proud of my heritage. Spot Lucian in the crowd, ready to interrupt the governor. Leave our planet! Altara for Altarans! Alright, that behavior towards our governor, Hagos kept order. Keep order and remove this man from the session. Let chaos unfold. Yeah, he has the right to speak. Archie gives you a brief look, followed by a thankful nod. He turns back to the chamber. The law will take care of the Itaka criminals. They will be judged. No one is making an argument that these people are the victims here. And yes, my district has a problem with criminal gangs. No hesitation. I won't deny that. Small shift in posture. But I am not here only as a governor. I am here representing the proposal of the Hope and Progress Collective. A pause. We do believe that if we want to reduce crime, we need to deal with the conditions that produce it. Expand social support for poor Itaka communities. give people stability and dignity. He glances across the room. And not just Itaka. In fact, we want to help all poor communities, no matter their origin. We would also improve infrastructure, lighting, cameras, presence. The plan is to make these areas visible again without the use of violence, gentlemen. Short pause. We have a choice: to react to crime after it happens using strength and punishment, or we can make it less likely to happen again. The bill is not ready yet. Our party is still wrapping up the last details, but it constitutes a strong plan to fight crime properly. Hagus waits for the room to settle. Final strike of the desk. The proposals referenced by both governors will be formally presented in this chamber in the coming days by their respective parties. A brief pause. At this time, preliminary positions may be stated. He turns slightly. Representative Lucian, you have the floor. Congressman! Faint smile. As leader of the party for Altara, I can assure you, we are not here to debate problems. We're here to solve them. A beat. We all know what needs to be done. Harsher laws, real punishment. Small pause. But we are reasonable people. We understand that forcing constitutional changes in the state may not be, well, viable. A slight tilt of the head. So we begin with what can be done now. He looks across the chamber. Our proposal is simple. Special police operations in high-risk zones. The police will have full authority to conduct operations in the favelas where these factions have dominated. A beat. We give our police the tools they need. We authorize the use of force. A short pause. Only if needed, of course. He lets that sit. I have no doubt that this is the right path. The Congress will have the official bill in the coming days. He sits. Hagus looks across the chamber. Representative Pavis, you now have the floor. First, let me be clear. We disagree with every single word spoken by the PFA and their proposal. Increasing police power, authorizing special operations in communities. How many innocent people are going to die because of that? Do we really want to declare war inside our own cities? Do we want shootings in the favelas where families live, where children live? We are already at war, Miss Pavis. Every day innocent people die on this planet at the hands of criminals. It is time to fight back. He goes straight to Governor Sisypho, if you will wait. Pavis doesn't even look at him. She keeps going. We at the Hope and Progress Collective are working on a different approach, one that actually addresses the cause of this social inequality. We want to expand support for vulnerable communities. We invest in infrastructure, cameras, public lighting. The core idea here is visibility and prevention. We want to make these places safer without turning them into battlefields. She lets that sit, then steps down. Low murmurs spread across the chamber as members lean toward one another, exchanging quick comments and quiet reactions. Some nod in agreement, others shake their heads, the room settling into a tense, fragmented buzz after the speeches. Hagus prepares to close the session. He adjusts himself, glances at the panel, then his eyes shift towards you. The room hasn't fully settled yet. This is your moment. You can let it end here, or you can step in and take control of the narrative before the session closes. I want to make it clear that all Congress will not endorse any punitive system measures and that allow bloodshed on my government. We're not being too moderate here. Innocent people are dying every day. Gentlemen, we should push for the death penalty. I publicly support the measure of the PFA. It is time to make criminals scared again. Altara United Party will support this bill. We should push for the death penalty. Capital punishment. So was that what I was supposed to do? Yeah, I forget. Yeah, I'll support the PFA for now. PFA reactions, strong applause, unified. Lucian stands satisfied. Sisypho nods once, firm. Across the chamber, hope and progress rises in protest. This will be decided by this Congress. We will not tolerate this. The room fractures again. Voices rise. Hagus strikes the desk. Order! No effect. Another strike. This session is concluded. That the atmosphere was tense, but we managed to keep some stability in the room. Good work, sir. Now we need to focus on the coming session in the next few weeks when the vote will take place. Both governors have invited you to meet with them. You'll be able to accept or decline those invitations next week. Now I should warn you. I heard some talk in the room today. It seems Chrysler is preparing something against you after nationalization. By the end of this week, he intends to declare that we will be required to pay an additional layer of compensation to Palanix. The official announcement will come at the end of the week. Not only that, but it seems he may try to push for an impeachment process if you continue antagonizing him in the Interstellar Pact. Of course, he cannot open such a process himself, but he can influence Hagus and the members of the Supreme Court to move in that direction. You should be careful, sir. We can escalate against him if needed, but that will be dangerous if we are not prepared. Our Minister of Justice is trying now to contain the situation and also try to evaluate and understand better the proposals of the PFA and the Hope and Progress. Now I need to meet Grand Peaks next. An aerial transport takes you to the meeting point. The cathedral stands isolated in the middle of nowhere, far from city lights, far from the capital. The night sky is wide open above, thick with stars, cold and clear. No haze or glow from civilization to dull them. The old doctrine cathedral is in ruins, barely recognizable. Massive columns have toppled outward, now lying cracked and half buried in the dirt. The roof has long since collapsed, leaving the place exposed to the night air. Charred stone walls still stand in places, scarred by the orbital strikes that ended the invasion 15 years ago. Lucario steps out beside you using his cane. 4 guards move out quickly, spreading... Oh, come on. Okay, yes, we'll save, thank you. Weapons low, eyes on the dark. You stand at the edge of the ruin entrance, waiting. Lucario steps closer as the transport settles, voice low against the wind. I should tell you before we go in, sir. A brief glance toward the ruin entrance. I followed the doctrine once, in theory. Never the full vows, but I saw its value. But now, it's almost gone from the public memory. When Altara fell, the core promise collapsed. If we were supreme, destined to lead, how could we lose so badly? People stopped believing. Our religion's foundation, Altaran supremacy, collapsed. It's just old stories today. The intel on Horatius is concerning. He disappeared for years after the war was over, but now he's preaching again. He does it hiding in sewers and undercity tunnels. We are talking about small, fanatical groups. Make no mistake, this man is an extremist, sir. We're stepping into shadows tonight. Be careful what you say. A man emerges from the darkness beyond the broken columns. He moves slowly with clear difficulty on performing movements. See, this is interesting. He wears a peculiar golden suit. You recognize it, the ancient attire of the Doctrines Inquisitors, unchanged for centuries. The suit symbolized violence, power. What is he, a KKK? What the heck? Are they supposed to be the KKK, or did he just go, you know what, pointy hat? Because it does kind of... Oh. Well, the KKK wanted to look like wizards too, so... Is this coincidence or intentionality? Above all, it symbolized the sacred authority of the doctrine made manifest. The divine right of just violence that the Creator granted to Altara and to Altara only. He stops a few paces away. Then he looks up above to the stars for... Oh crap, I joined. That's not great. That's going to be a thing that's going to get brought up for a few minutes before finally starting to talk. What a beautiful night the Creator has granted to us. Truly inspiring. Horatius faces you directly now. So many worlds, tiny countless stars. Does it not excite you? His voice carries low and deliberate, almost intimate, as though the ruined cathedral were empty, except for the two of you. I've been following your first weeks closely, Mr. President. A faint tilt of the hooded head. In fact, I remember your face, young man. You were a boy. Child about to step into adulthood. Yes, I remember. You decided to give your life to the doctrine, yes. Such a wise boy all those years ago. Do you see it? You were destined to greatness even back then. You have the mandate of heavens. When I focus my old gaze upon our future, the future of Altara, I see potential, greatness awaiting. Altara is finally free once again, and with that freedom, we can reach the stars once more. He pauses, letting the words settle into the cold night air. Tell me, when you gaze upon these night skies, when your mind wanders through the countless worlds out there, what thought arises in you? Worlds waiting to be conquered. Jeez! Peoples yet untouched by order, yearning to be civilized. Other cultures, other races, entire histories unfolding beneath those stars. Potential allies, and yes, perhaps you would call it childless, but even friends to be made across now. Most of the stars you see are already dead. That's a foolish... I like that. You know, scientifically speaking, most of the stars you see are already dead. The light is ancient, traveling across on a magical distance long after the fire itself has already gone out. This is a foolish question and does not deserve an answer. State your proposal plainly, priest. Be direct. The eternal pursuit of greatness. Yeah, that makes sense. Horatius straightens to its full height, arms spreading slightly as embracing the starry vault above. Greatness. The word escapes like a reverent breath, voice thick with euphoric fervor. Yes, that's the very soul of the doctrine. That is why I stand here beneath these indifferent stars, to author you the path, the means, the equation itself, to lift Altara back to the greatness the hierarchy has always demanded. Yeah, this is probably going to be good or bad. Horatius stands motionless for a moment. His voice emerges low and measured at first, but then builds, theatrical, fervent, a blend of solemn sermon and manic revelation. I am no fool to waste your time, steward. No, quite the contrary. I come tonight bearing gifts. A long pause, the hooded head tilting as if listening to some distant echo. When Altara fell, so did my faith. If the doctrine proclaimed us naturally supreme, the pinnacle of the hierarchy destined to shepherd the galaxy toward greatness, then the Fourth Grand War shattered that truth. It buried everything. His gloved hands rise slowly, palms upward, as though cradling an invisible flame. I exiled myself, for I did not believe anymore. I wandered, I walked through shattered worlds, through alien civilizations, through the rotting heart of empires. And what did I witness? Decay, everywhere, decadence in 1,000 different ways. The voice drops to a hiss, then surges again. Worlds where the weak preach democracy and call it virtue. Systems where faceless corporations puppeteer every soul. Are you communist? Tyrannies that deny the divine altogether, drowning their own materialist filth. And then the mockery of Zalsta, a false god cobbled from stolen minds. Cursed be all of them, a mad galaxy, hear me, unraveled, leaderless, screaming for order. He lowers his hands to gesture deliberate and commanding. And then I ventured beyond. I got myself onto a small ship. Food and water for only a few days. No destination. Final test to my faith. For if the Creator is real, He would show me salvation. I was ready to die, Steward. But the Creator answered my pleas. For I found something beautiful, something holy. His voice trembles with barely contained ecstasy. Something that rekindled the sacred fire within me, that proved the doctrine was never wrong, only incomplete. I came tonight to offer you 3 different things, Mr. President, 3 pillars to rebuild what was lost. First, hope. Pure, radiant hope. A flame to return to your people, a sense of union, of brotherhood, all gathered beneath the eternal umbrella of true faith. They are starving for it. You can feed them. Second, control. Grant them that hope, and their hearts fall into the palm of your hand. They will follow, they will obey, and this obedience shall not come from fear, but devotion. And third, his voice drops to a reverent whisper, and rises like thunder. Something greater, something divine. God, a real God. Not metaphor, not symbol, the coming of the Creator. Do you understand me, Steward? Where have you been for these past 15 years? Horatius tilts the hood slightly, as though recalling a long sacred journey. I walked the worlds of the interstellar pacts. I passed through the union of sovereign systems. I even trod the blasphemous domains of Zalsta. Slow breath, almost reverent. But those places were not enough. I sought the truth beyond. I journeyed to the outer rims, and then further. Beyond the mapped galaxy itself. Into the dark where even light fears to linger. There, in the silence between the voids, the Creator spoke. Then I found the equation. That is where I have been. The eternal pursuit of greatness. Okay. Speak clearly, Horatius. His voice rises, trembling with feverish intensity, each word dripping with sacred madness. The doctrine speaks of ambition, Steward, of Altara being destined to rule, destined for greatness. Is that not correct? He leans forward, the shadowed hood tilting like a blade. But let me ask you a question that will pierce your very soul. Is there anything greater than to tame a god? Excuse me, what? This is going to be the plot of this game, isn't it? We're going to find out what happened on Althea. And it's going to have something to do with that. A dramatic pause, gloved hands opened wide, as if grasping the stars themselves. Follow my logic. Bear with me, my child. He made the universe for us. Every star, every planet, every void, all of it designed to be conquered by us. Trials and tribulations created solely to test our worth. His tone drops to a reverent whisper, then explodes in. But what no one ever dared was to go after the Creator himself. This is the ultimate trial, his ultimate test. He wants this. He demands that we prove our greatness, prove our worth. The voice surges with ecstatic fervor. When we speak of the eternal pursuit of greatness, this is what it truly means. Once we conquer God itself, we will finally conquer greatness. He straightens, voice now trembling with divine certainty. I possess the equation. I possess the sacred knowledge, how to trap God inside a machine like a genie in a bottle. Contemptuous laugh echoes from the hood. The followers of Zalsta thought they achieved this. Oh, come on, blasphemy, no. They believed they had imprisoned God. What pathetic imitations they created. But we are not playing with toys. We are going for the real thing, Steward. His arms spread wide beneath the starry sky. The day of hope is coming. You will invite me to the grand parade. You will declare that the doctrine and the official religion of the state once more, and together we will enslave God himself inside a machine and use that divine creation to conquer the stars. The hooded figure leans in closer, voice low and burning. Altara has no army, no defenses. If you wish to follow a path of power, you will be bare naked against our enemies. But with a god on a leash, you will be able to accomplish everything you wish. Steward, do you understand my offer? Yes, I understand. So I want it to be the state religion because that would probably bring stability and not bite me in the rear end too hard. However, the whole putting God in a robot the exact same way that Zolstra did sounds iffy. The preacher speaks the truth, but it all comes down to your own intentions. Does your heart truly seek a path of absolute authority and control? If Horatius is right, if the equation can tame a god, then the power waiting for you is unimaginable. But what dangers would that unleash? What happens when something so vast is chained? What if the chains break? Declaring the doctrine of the official religion again would be a bold stroke. It would be who rally the faithful, give your people the hope they crave, and perhaps even steady the nation under one banner. But it would also be a direct challenge to the Interstellar Pact. They would see it as the first step toward resurgence, towards the old imperial ambition reborn. Their response would not be gentle. Perhaps there's a third path. You are not yet a dictator, not yet at least. You do not have the full authority to arrest, execute, or disappear someone in broad daylight, but here in the ruins under star-filled skies with no witnesses, you could change that. Order the guards to take Horatius captive, bring him to a black site, extract the equation from him by any means necessary. The knowledge would be yours alone. No strings, no fanaticism, no divine puppet master pulling at your sleeve. It would make you a mortal enemy of the doctrine's remnants. But are they truly powerful enough anymore to matter? 15 years after all the fall, scattered, hunted, reduced to shadows and whispers, how much threat did they really pose? The choice is yours, Mr. President. Then I is quiet. The guards are waiting. I'm not torturing Horatius. Horatius' voice rings out, the ruined cathedral, fervent and commanding. This is your moment, Mr. President. We shall enslave God himself in a machine. Are you with me? Guards a restless man, knows and tired of his madness. I will not occupy. That's so weird. God's arrested the guards. I don't want to arrest him because I don't really want to do with a shadow cult in my rear end. This is crazy. However, I would get the state religion bit without the god machine bit. Alright, here, let's get the Horatius throws his arms wide, voice cracking with euphoric triumph. Yes, yes, Altara awakens! The Creator will be ours, bound, obedient, and throned above Altara. You have chosen greatness, Steward. The stars themselves will bow. I shall go now. We shall talk again on the day of hope. Oh no, what have I done? Okay, we're fine. Well, I guess I could call Cilia. Then I can go home and kick my rear end into... Called Cilia back. Despite being the one who invited you, she sounds surprised. You taking the time clearly wasn't what she expected. She kept it short. Midnight, Altara Prime Park. You know the place. Public, open, harmless during the day. But at midnight, it's empty. Too empty. She made one thing clear before hanging up. No bodyguards, no aides, just you. Go alone. Yeah, I don't care. You arrive at the park. Celia's already there, standing near the path, arms crossed. She turns the moment she sees you. She looks around before stepping a bit closer, lowering her voice. Look, this is not an interview, alright? I'm not recording you. Nothing here is getting registered. It is complicated. You met Nearing during the flooring, right? Tell me, Mr. President. Did anything feel off to you? Everything else felt off about him. Everything felt off about him, yeah. Celia studies your face for a second, like she's deciding how far to go. All right, I need you to stay with me here, because what I have to say might seem insane to you. Let me start with the basics. You look up any politician of the Pact in the Macronet, and you get everything: background, career, affiliations. It's all there, clean, organized, and public. You move to corporate leadership. You start looking for billionaires, and it gets thinner, less transparency. But you know what? Fine. We all know powerful people protect themselves, and we all know the pact likes to protect their corporations. But then you reach trillionaires, and things start to get eerie. Let me give you an example. You met a man named Savante at the forum, right? You go into the Macronet. We don't get a place of birth. We don't even get a confirmed species. We have no idea who that man is under the veil. One of the most powerful men in the galaxy. There's absolutely nothing. Not even a past. Niran. He's not even at them. Not even a trillionaire. Somehow it's worse. On paper, he's Diluvian, 48 years old. Easy enough to find. She shakes her head, but Diluvians don't look like that. They got blue skin. They can breathe without any apparatus. So what is he? Then you start pulling on his businesses. He owns a small transport company. No contracts on record. None. And still, dozens of cargo ships moving every month. Another one is the law firm. Commercial Economic Advisory? Sounds normal, right? A dry look. 0 employees with backlogs. Not one. Silence hangs for a moment. So tell me, Mr. President, who is he really? How does someone like that end up this powerful inside the pact? Yeah, what's her point? His appearance could easily be explained. Maybe he does not look like a Diluvian because of an accident condition. You sound like a conspiracy theorist. Please, Celia, state your point. What's your conclusion? Celia exhales, steadying herself. I'll be honest with you, Mr. President. I've been digging into Niran for 2 years. I've barely scratched him. He's powerful, more than he should be. And I'm not convinced even the Pact understands how far this reach goes, or who he's tied to. She glanced around the park, then back to you. It's not just trillionaires. Smaller Pact officials, celebrities, people with influence. They all flow into this net. Being honest, that is why I asked you to come alone. I am becoming paranoid. I think he has eyes everywhere. I think he's looking at you now. I think he wants you in. If I'm right, you could get close to it. Close enough to see what he's truly doing behind the curtains. We can expose it. Not just him, but everything. I know what I'm asking. But if I'm right, we can stop something truly bad before it spreads any further. Are you asking the president of Altara to help you write now? Article, get out of my way, silly. The answer is no. If this hurts the pact, I'm in. We take him down. I'm in. You're cute, but a little crazy. That's not very nice. We take him down. I'm in. Good. Sharp nod. Then we do this right. No mistakes. Wait for an opportunity to talk near him, and your chance to get close to him. Celia leaves. You wonder if she truly is right. If she is truly like wife. And if she is, what type of conspiracy could Niran be hiding? Next turn. Oh, goody. We have no money. We have 6 energy, and that's it. Oh, wait, that's right. I can sell my energy. Yeah, enter the market. Yeah, so... Okay. War surplus. You know, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Crap. I said it at the wrong time. No, I didn't. Yes. Find alloys. Synth surplus. Data. Oh, right, that's not one that works. Okay, companies. No, that's not it. Okay. Economy. Edicts. Let's look at that again. Okay, return. Economy. Is there something about That's not what I want. Wait, so data is messed up. Not yet operational. Check back next quarter. So I swear that was where I sold the money. That's where I sold the thing for money. That's not good because that's I don't have any other way. Oh, there it is. Industries. Cool. Cool. Okay, so can I get military now, or should I spend on training units, constructing units? Purchase new units. I think for now I'll spend... No, not space exploration as well. Launch expedition. Long-range scanners detected a dormant orbital installation in the outer rim. Hole markings confirm the structure once belonged to Altaran Empire, likely abandoned during the collapse following the Fourth Grand War. Station power is inactive, no life signs detected. Atmosphere. Board the station. Command system required. Enter the station. Yeah, board the station. Expedition teams successfully breach the station inner corridors. Most compartments are degraded and ship equipment. However, the central archive chamber remains sealed. Covered data fragments reveal the station was part of an Imperial research initiative studying what lies beyond the galactic frontier. The project appears to combine astronomical observation with practices described in logs as ritual procedures. Several documents reference repeated attempts to locate an entity designated as the Forbidden Priest. Purpose of the search remains unclear. The rest of the research notes contain symbols and diagrams. They do not correspond to any known scientific notations. Some crew members report the material resembles arcane or sorcerer script. Further analysis recommended additional findings. Oh my goodness, I got more money from that. That's insane. A concealed compartment inside the archive vault contained a small reserve of Imperial gold ingots, likely part of a hidden financial assets evacuated during the Empire's final years. The gold has been secured by the expedition team. Okay, so do we launch? To budget. Because if we look at edicts, substance control, that's one influence and two budget. Yeah. Plus one influence per turn. I don't need that. Substance Control Act -2 crime index. -5 crime. 3 influence and 2 budget. I get. Oh, I don't have 3 influence. Cool. All right. I'll have 5 next turn, so I'll do that next turn. For now, we'll get some more military. Yip-ee. Struck new units. I don't have money for that. Okay. Purchase new units. Sentinel ship control. Train soldiers -5. Defensive power +3. Yippee, we have a military now. Alright, let's save this real quick. Oh, come on. Okay. Saving and loading is turned off while the terminal is active. Alright. So now we have the time to go look into the lore. Altaran Congress. Yeah. Don't need that. Codex data. Yippee. Alright. Interstellar Pact, founded in 1176 AA. Alright. So if we go to... Let me save the... Okay, shut up. 1176 AA. So that's the pact, right? Yep. Okay. Pact founded. Pact founded. And that's 1176, right? No. Let's double check anything else. Alright. Yep, that's it. 1176 pack founded. Now, new event. Fourth Grand War begins. So if we go check, that's going to be 1333. 1333. Oh no, where did everything go? Is there like a way I can go to 1330 so I don't have to scroll around looking for all this? Okay, that's good. Oh my goodness, stop doing whatever that is. Pact founded. Alright, so Pact founded, 1336 is the beginning of the war. USS is founded in 1023. Event. I completely forgot what the number went as soon as. Okay, 1023 AA. USS. No, USS. Founded. I am leaving after we figure out the lore for all this because I am not doing all this crap. USS founded. 1020. Okay, I immediately forgot what it was again after looking at it. 1023. Good night. 1023. Alright, anything else? 1038. Expansion began. 1042. Tensions. Okay, 1038 expansion began. 1038 USX expansion began. 1038. 1038 USS expansion begins. Wait, can I see design? Yeah, I like that better. Oh. Begins. Yeah, let's color code all the things. That's a good idea. Can I find events? Oh, premium if I want more than 18 events. Cool. So is there a better one? Start creating. No, thank you. I'm good. Add event. Okay. Event name. Pact. Founded. Why is it CE? No, I don't want CE. I want AA. Okay, I know what CE is. Pact founded. 11. 03? I have to go check again. 1176. They are America, I guess. But evil. Lures Pro. Cool. So this also has pay for features. I guess if you're looking for how to make certain timelines for free, don't use that one. Make a timeline. Get the spreadsheet template. Oh goodness. That's a whole thing. I'm not using that because free online timeline maker. Create a timeline. Get rid of that. Yes. Get rid of that. Infographics. Timeline. Yes. Create from blank. Paper company history. Create from blank, I guess. Next. Don't care. Don't care. All right. Diagrams. Is there like a way I can create more as we go on? Yes, that's actually exactly what I need. Okay. I'm just gonna delete that. I like yellow as my background color, so. Can I make this like a less harsh yellow or a bit more orangish? There we go. Yeah, I like that. Can I like make this like I don't need like a paper thing. I don't need show ruler and guides. Yeah, I would like more. Okay, can we? I'm gonna get rid of this. Nope, I can't. Okay, cool. Alright, so can we like make these smaller and then we can just zoom in a lot? Nope. Alright, I guess this is what we're working with. Alright, so we're gonna, this is gonna be our packed side. Packed floor. That's not what I wanted. Can I like make this smaller? Nope. It's smaller I can make it. Okay. Packed. Okay, let me double check that y'all can see this. Okay, y'all can see it. Okay. Founded 1176. 1176. Why line like this? Okay, pact is founded 1176. All right, then we'll go No. Like how I have. Don't know what any of this is. Diagrams. There we go. Where are they at? They're in the middle. Where they should be. That'll be USSR. Shape, border. Where's the color? Fill color. There we go. Red. Yes, you red too. USS. USS. Founded. Let's move this over here, kind of next to the pack, because I don't want it to take up too much space. Take another. Alright, this is going to be... Astra. Founded whenever. Alright, and then we have Sovereign Republic of Anima. I like how we haven't even gotten into the Sovereign Republic of Anima. We're not even that far in the story yet. Okay, back. This will be the Plurba. That's what they're called, right? Make green. Make green. Plurba. Founded. And Altara. Alright, we'll make orange, because I want orange for my Altara. Altara probably ain't gonna have the easy answer of founded when. Start with like recorded history. history starts. Switch all these to smaller fonts so I can actually see what's going on. There will be more, and I don't have space for everything. Add empty block. Alright, can I get species list? Oh, the paper is the only place I get anything to... Okay, cool. Oh, there's a timeline for the time. Cool. Width. 9,000. Nope. 999. 1,000. Nope. 6,000. 7,000. Nope. 6,000. 900. Nope. 6,500. Nope. 6,200. Nope. 6,100. 6,001. Nope. 6,000 is the widest I can make it. Cool. Oh, goodness! Okay. I want a different thing for this. I want like a spacey font. Orbitron. Species list. That's like a 24. Okay, so here's where the species list is going to be. Alright, header and text. Where is the text? It's here. Torrens. Torrens. Why do I need an AI writer for me? Duplicate. Instead of all torrents, we'll add. Who's next on the list? 9 species in the pact alone, not acknowledging the USS, which also has like 8 different species. I don't know. 52 systems that has how many species? Persons of interest. No persons of interest. Historical events. First Grand War. Call. Okay, so call. Alterans. So if we duplicate this again, and then we just make it small, or make it smaller, like 12. Essentially, basic humans is what we'll add as the first bit of lore for the Altarans. Holy. Oh no, whatever. Okay, there we go. Factions. Interstellar Pact. Alright. Okay, so add a box. So they're made up of military. Okay. Military and economic bloc. Democratic. Okay, so we have 45 systems and 9 distinct species. 45 systems. Nine species. This is fun. Okay, structure around democratic governance and liberal institutional policies, welfare and regulated market economies, which while formally decentralized is the direction that is largely shaped by leading member states, Darencia, Delia, and Bellianos. So those are not planets, but member states. Good night. Okay, so there, state. Limited market intervention. Possible corporate influence in government. Yeah, very interesting so far. Good night. Possible corporate influence in government. Right. Leading species. States. This is not where this is all supposed to go. This is supposed to be a lot tidier. Okay, we're gonna move all of this over a bit. Move this. Let's get all the spaghetti back in place. Alright, so we're gonna like fix the spaghetti and then we're gonna move everything over a whole bunch more. So overall, right now, this is a very good game, and I like it quite a bit. But the lore is intense. Crazy, very crazy. Okay, so leading member states. So we have Darencia, Deluvia, and Belionos. Darencia, Deluvia, and Belionos. Darencia, Deluvia, Belionos. Let me see if how badly I butchered that. Deluvia, nope. Deluvia, Darencia, Deluvia, and Belionos. Belionos. Was that all right? Yes. There we go. Yippee! All right. Goody. All right. So that's that. Oh, what have I done? Okay. 1333 AA. Okay, so 1333 AA. Grand War. Fourth Grand War. 1333 AA. AA. 1333. Yep. 1333 AA. Aggression. Tara. And war begins. Speaking of, I'm probably gonna have to have a timeline for the Grand War. Oh goodness. This is already, we already have this much going on. Background will be the same as the other one. So that way we can just keep going whenever we need to. Diagrams. I'll add another color, purple, I guess. Grand War timeline. Grand War timeline, yippee, alright. 1333 AA begins. Oh goodness, we're gonna have to do all four, aren't we? Okay, so we need diagrams. We need 4, not 3. Well, 3 it is. I can just add another one. Just add another one. Okay, that's the Grand War, actually. Purple. Yippee, alright, we got it. Cool. Let's get the Orbitron, because I don't want to look at the boring Lato anymore. Alright, Grand War timeline. We'll get all 4 already. War timeline. Grand War 1. Let's just make that. To 20. Just double check that all those are 20. And War 3. $4. No, 4, not $sign. Alright, so which one are we getting? Okay, Grand War. Fourth Grand War. Okay, fourth Grand War. So 1333. Starts 1333 AA. So we'll start with our major aggressors first. Orange. Pact. Altara. Okay, so decentralized jurisdiction by 3 member states. Okay. Started war. Good night, Victor. In government. Golly. Third Grand War. Okay, so we're gonna move this over a bit so I can grab all of these and move them over. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough space for all this. Jeez Louise. Right. Finished total pack consolidates position of dominant power in the galaxy. Okay, so good night. All right. After we figure out all this, I'm going to read the Great War, First Great War, and Second Great War lore, and then I might call it a day because this is getting old fast. I'm trying to figure out the lore of something. It's 1023 AA. 10. Oh my goodness. 1023 AA. Dead crap. Here we go. Just walk. Following Vilgox. Oh, that's right. The Vilgox is a species. Vilgoxa. I hope you can't see that. You can't, that's right. Okay. Vilgoxa. No, okay. Giant red squids. Oops. Founding species of USS. Communist bloc. All right. Expansion began 1038. Ten 1088. All right. So if we go back to here, the Vilgoxa were minor aggressors in the Fourth Grand War. Just something we should definitely get set up. Make sure it's red. Coolio. Join near the end of the war and provided crucial involvement. Provided crucial involvement. All right. Okay, so now let's get to good night. All right, let's get to back to the USS. All right. First major historical event, 1038 AA. Okay, so 1038, 6 additional minor systems join. AA, 8 minor systems, yeah, 8 minor additional systems join. Okay, so three systems. The original 3 systems. Originally 3 systems. Currently six joined. We'll have the 6. We'll have the 6 there. Currently, three systems: Vilgaxa and Larkia and Robana. Vilgaxa. Vilgaxa. Vilgaxa and Larkia and Robana. Larkia and Robana. In Larkia and Gobana. That is not what it was it? Robana. Garbanzo beans. 6 joined. We're the 6th. Do we have the 6th? Oh, goodness. Okay, so we don't currently have the 6 systems that joined. Alright. Currently, oh goodness, 52 systems. Some tells me we're not going to find out all 52 systems. Alright, but if we do, we'll add an including there. Six joined or 8 joined? Because I have it listed as 8, but it's 6. Cool. I'm so happy about that. Cool. All right. 1038 AA. And then the next event was 1042. All right. Border conflicts with Altara. 10 1042 AA. Minor border conflicts with all. Oops, wrong way. So that's wrong. So I mixed them up. Cool. Control C, Control V, there we go. Okay, stay. 1040. Don't look at that. There we go. 1042. 1042. AA. Minor border conflicts with Altara. And we'll add something to... Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness, what happened? Oh, there's a thing there. That's strange. We'll add like a little shape there or something to... I have to go find it, don't I? Well, I guess I don't have to look that hard. Orange spot there to indicate it has something to do with Altara. There we go. And every time we have something involving Altara, we'll add a little orange spot so we know what's going on. So we know that it's Altara that's being included. Cool. So we have to deal with Anima. And the Gnostics and the Altaran Communist Party. Oh, gross. Why does the index contain these three? Like, we haven't even met them yet. I feel like this would be unlocked in order. Oh goodness. Okay. And don't forget the Holy Church of Gnostic Truth, which I'm not going over because I don't have that in the flowchart yet. I'm gonna have to set it up in the flowchart. You know, I'll attempt to do that. Hold on, yeah. 1042. Border conflicts 1088. Finishes modernization of fleet. Okay. 1088, I think. Nation of fleet. So we're just going to move this over so I can add more of the Gnostics and all that. Okay, so they begin the modernization, finishes the modernization of the fleet, and they begin Soviet-style military purge. Yep, there we go. Yippee. Right. Enters the Fourth Grand War. 52 systems. Largest industrial base, second largest military. Alright. Second largest military. Industrial base and and rampant government espionage. There we go. Yippee. Alright. We're done with that. So currently... Oh, excuse me. Alright. And then if we go back to basics, we'll find goody. 1, 2. Here we go. Alright. So Gnostic Church and Altaran Communist Party, goody. I don't even want to go over the Altaran Communist Party. Politics. Communist. Fascist. Democratic. And monarchist. These are our 4 parties. Keep them like this. Here we go. Alright, yippee, we've done it. Alright, communist. Altarin. Communist. Party. Gnostic. Church. Gnostic. Church again, because I deleted it for some reason. Make it yellow. That won't be confusing at all. Okay, do we have anything like fancy for this? Spacey. And religious, possibly? That's not what I wanted. Cool. That'll do. And then the other one was the anima, the robots. Anima. Alright, we'll just put like a gray one for the anima. We'll see if I can like get a cool, make a robot looking one. Yeah, we'll go Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what we're going with. Can't read it at all, but it looks cool, so we're going with it. Founded. Okay, we need to make that 12. Awoke. Alright, the anima first, the Occitan. So at the moment of Occitan, is that a separate thing or is that okay? So anima, they awoke around the second Great War. Around the Second Grand War. Alright, this is getting turned to black so I can actually see what it is. Originally, is it Vakari robots? Vakari robots made by the Call. Vakari robots. Made by the Call. $10 years ago. 10 years ago from now? When is now? I completely forget what any of the timeline is. Do we have any timeline? No AA, it's just their time. Just what happened. I need to go back so I can actually see all the things. Okay. Right. To Occitan. Very reviled. The majority of the cybers came from automated call colonies. Eventually. I guess it's more of a species than a faction, so. And they live on, like, what, Terra, right? Okay, so live on a moon. I would like to know what moon that is eventually, so we'll add a little reminder to put that there. They are known as the anima. Alliance joined. Coalition of the Mantra 10 years before current AA. Cool. Constant political unrest, but no change, right? But no change. Oh no, I've pressed caps lock. Change. Alright. So we have the constant political unrest, but no change in system. Little 2, no change in system. They cannot naturally reproduce. Let's do the programming. Amazing. So that's the anima, and now all that's left is figuring out the Gnostic Church. Actually, let's make a whole. Let's make a whole thing for religions down here, because I'm sure I'm not going to use all this, so. Apologies for the noise. Oh my goodness, why is this like... Religions... Why can I not just put this on here? Okay. Guess I have to add the text here. Yep, cool. Come on. on. Can't be telling me that this is just not going to work now. Gnostics, Solstra, Altara. I just realized I spelled Unifar wrong. If you go fix that real quick. Oh my goodness, I said pluribus instead of Unifar. Laura. Yellow. Nope. Delete. 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 Go with Solstra to black. Delete. Delete. Just fix this before you tell Tara. Gnostic. Search. Astra. 150. Avenue. And I pressed caps lock. Cool. Doctrine, that's right. Doctrine. Let's find some better. That's not what I want. Solstra. That's better. We'll have that be an option. Founded. That's much better. Now I can use all this space. Founded 24. The doctrine. Founded. Alright, so if we go here, now we can do all the fun things. History. Main tenants in the middle. Beliefs. And I think this says the whole thing go on here, so it actually tells what we need exactly. Theology, origins, history. Yeah, so we actually just need history and beliefs. History. History. And beliefs. And then last one. History. And beliefs. Okay, so with practices over here, I forgot about that. Let's just go with what I remember from the Zostra real quick. Sacrifice. Body modification. Put 2 here just in case we need more. And then is that the right word? Yeah. Evangelizing to try and No, wait, that's not right. Okay, let's just put it in. I forget what that is. And it's a doomsday poll. What am I saying? Alright, history. So I don't know anything else about them other than this at the moment, so we'll go with that. Okay. Base religion. How do I misspell strength? Okay, so I'm going to need to turn it up a bit, so that's more than 24, 30. Well, that's because mammon on me. On supremacy. Smaller, please. Yippee! Alright, amazing. English religion. I don't know what the other practices are at the moment. Sarah. No. Okay. Suddenly I forgot how to spell ceremonial, which is funny. Amazing. Odds. Possible historical influence. White. Woods. Yeah, so we have the Altaran supremacy religion, which is interesting. Alright, let's finish this up. Why is this like this? Okay, so let's find the Gnostic Church. Figure out all. Oh no. No, y'all can see it, right? Okay, good. Because every time I switch over, y'all don't see when I switch over. Let's see what it says. Okay, so... Oh, that's right. They believe in humanity's God, which humanity killed and ate. That's right. Oh, they killed Jesus and ate him. That is such a strange theology. No, humans just died. It's almost Minecraft-ish music. Okay, so capital, this is a weird font. The adversary. They found the adversary. Okay, so this is very interesting, but kind of crazy. Oh goodness, this is insane. Alright. So I think that's it. Okay. Okay, so it's possibly a doomsday cult? I continue to practice magic, I guess. Looking for magic and such. All right. So even with the Occitan event. So Occitan is something interesting. So I guess, alright, so Diluvians. I guess that's another species to add to the list. Diluvians. Diluvians. Find weird planet in their solar system. Okay, so 3 months later, okay, so we send King Goghan to the gas giants. Human tomb world is found within. So humans are a pretty big place, pretty big part of this story, which is interesting because all Taurans seem to be human. So records of an ancient human religion is found within. Cool. Okay. Religion destabilizes the government. The government attempts to the Diluvian government. The government attempts to attack Dak fires. Nope. Orbital. Planet destroying the Diluvian capital. Names. That's not what I want to say. Names himself. Alright, copy paste this? Nope. Alright. Archon Han of Oasis. Archon Han of Oasis comes first. Archon or church leader. And I think that's it. All right. You have Rook. I don't even know what that is. All right, so F2. Ah, crap. Okay. Okay, they are... The Gnostics are enemies of the throne of Zolsta. Alright, okay. That's not what I wanted. Cool. Call are helped by Church the First Grand War. Call. Cool, alright. First Grand War, alright. Alright, so anything that happened before Oxyton. And enemies with Solstra. Hawk. Satan. Rapture's Church. Fascist coup in Deluvia leads to end of Church's main power era. I don't know, power era. That's what we're going with. So Deluvia joins the pact. In 1195 AA. Deluvia joins 1195 AA. So I guess I'll need a thing for Deluvia, because I don't have any other way to explain that. Alright, linguistic of others. Cool. Action of Physical. Alright. Alright, let's look at the Altaran Communist Party real quick, and then we'll read First Grand War, try and record that. Second Grand War, try and record that. And I'm done for the day, because I am not doing all this. Alright. United Species. Fourth Grand War changed the economy. Inequality. Right, 1340, 3 years after the war's end. His relationship with Hope and Progress had become untenable. Years after. So let me double check. 1330. Okay, so 1333 is the beginning of the war, which means 1340. So this 1340 was the end, 3 years after the war's end, which means 1337 was the end of the war, so the war went on for 4 years. 4 years for an intergalactic war, that's kind of crazy. If anything, we're just going to pull it out. So it's there. That's a 4-year war. Huh, crazy. Alright, it's already been straightforward. Hope and Progress Collective, Kane Mandas, Communist Party of Altar. Okay. Nope. We start with Hope and Progress Collective. What a crazy, I was gonna say naive, but what a crazy name for a communist party, the Hope and Progress Collective. Oh, crap. Apologies, I had to do something there for a second. It got a bit noisy, so I didn't want that to be too bad. Forgot what the other party was called. Give me a second, I will get that. Libertarian Party. Party for Altar, PFA. Okay. For Altara. All right, that's it. So Grand Wars 1 and 2, those are what we get information on. So we're gonna find out. Are you ready? Let's switch over to that real quick. To call this a historical account would be generous. What we know about the First Grand War would fit comfortably on a few pages. Oh, I'm sure. I am very sure. What we suspect would fill volumes. What we have lost to time, to the Occitan event, to the simple fact that civilizations fall, is almost everything. The First Grand War took place tens of thousands of years ago. Jeez Louise. At a time when most species in the galaxy were still fragmented into competing nations on single planets. When space travel was an extraordinary feat rather than an ordinary one. And when the idea that other life existed beyond one's own skies was for most still theoretical. We approach this subject not as historians but as archaeologists of a myth. The Call, whose early records were among the most complete before the Occitan event destroyed them, appear to have preserved the most coherent account of the war's origins. Even that account is almost entirely gone now. This is what remains. Tens of thousands of years ago, at a time when the Call were completing the unification of their own world and taking their first serious steps into space, something happened. The surviving Call records describe them as the Uruk, monoliths the size of mountains arriving on planetary surfaces without any technology that the species of that era would identify or could identify or explain. The accounts, and it must be stressed that these accounts are ancient, fragmentary, and almost certainly embellished across generations of retelling, describe the Uruk as simply appearing. No vessels, no approach, one moment absent, the next present. One moment absent, the next present. Whether this represents a genuine property of the Uruk, a technology so far beyond the understanding of early spacefaring civilizations that it could only be recorded in terms that sound like sorcery or a mythological elaboration of something more mundane, we cannot say. The honest answer is that we do not know, and anyone who tells you otherwise is guessing. When the accounts do not agree on is what happened after they arrived. The Uruk did not attack in any conventional sense. They did not invade, occupy, or demand surrender. They dispersed something, described in the oldest text as a wave, a pressure, a sound that had no sound, across the entire surface of whatever world they chose. The process was slow. It would take close to a year for a single Uruk to complete what accounts describe as wiping. At that time, the populations of affected worlds died slowly and in pain. Conventional weapons appeared to have no effect. This detail is perhaps the one historians are most willing to accept at face value, given how consistently it appears across independent sources from entirely different species who had no contact with each other. The Uruk could not be stopped by any means available to the civilizations of that era. Accounts describe nuclear weapons leaving them completely unmarked. Many planets never had the chance to resist at all, for a significant number of species' first contact with other intelligent life was not the Call's warning messages, it was the Uruk. The Call sent those messages anyway, to every single signal they could reach. The effort was imperfect and slow. There was no FTL travel yet, and what interstellar communication existed was primitive and unreliable, but the warnings reached dozens of species. Among those who received them was a fragmented multi-nation Altara, still centuries away from any kind of unified government. Suddenly confronted with the existence of both alien life and an existential threat in the same moment, The coalition that formed was unlike anything that had existed before or would exist again until the Second Great War. It was not built on ideology or mutual interest. It was built on the shared understanding that the alternative was extinction. The Call, by then the most technologically advanced species in the coalition and in the final stages of becoming a unified single government civilization, provided strategic coordination. The throne of Zalsto joined early and brought with it something the coalition desperately needed: a willingness to commit completely, to sacrifice without hesitation, to treat the conflict as the theological emergency its leadership believed it to be. Whatever one thinks of Zalsto's methods, their value as an ally in the war of pure attrition was considerable, a quality that would make them indispensable again as centuries later, in very different circumstances, at the Second Great War. The war lasted a very long time. Estimates vary, but most scholars accept the active conflict continued for several centuries, punctuated by long periods of desperate industrialization, rebuilding, and the slow grinding work of developing technologies capable of doing what conventional weapons could not. Entire planets were sacrificed, used as killing grounds, as traps, as the price of destroying an individual Uruk. The accounts from this period share a tone across all surviving sources that feels almost modern in its coldness. Exhaustion, grief, and a kind of industrialized desperation that speaks to how completely the war had reshaped the civilizations fighting it. Towards the end of the war, FTL travel appeared. The accounts credit no single species with its invention, and the truth is probably that it emerged from the coalition's collective technological push rather than anyone's civilization's genius. It changed the war. It also changed everything that came after. And the Uruk began to vanish, not defeated in any final battle, not destroyed in the last stand. They withdrew, or dispersed, or simply stopped. The accounts differ, and none of them are reliable enough to prefer one over the others. The coalition declared victory because there was nothing left to fight, and because the alternative was to admit that they did not fully understand what happened or why it ended. Some accounts suggest the Uruk came from outside the galaxy entirely. If that is true, it raises a question that no one has ever satisfactorily answered: whether they left because they were beaten, or whether they finished what they came to do and simply had no reason to stay. That question has no answer. It may never have one. When the first Grand War left behind was a galaxy that had survived something it did not fully understand. A handful of species forced into contact with each other before any of them were ready, and the foundations of the infrastructure and technology that would centuries later make the Call Empire possible. The Second Grand War was inevitable, and everything that followed. Alright. Recorded history starts pre-First Grand War. And now I need to add the Call to the list of ridiculousness. Pre-Great War. Pre-First Great War. So they Alright. Now we need the Call, which is going to be so fun. I'm going to assume the anima don't have anything to add yet, so we're just going to put the Call on it. Oh, excuse me. Call. Okay, we need a new color. Magenta, I guess. I need to find a font for them too, because I'm tired of looking at the same font all day. Bad script. The Call. Who named it bad script? It looks fine. Okay. Founded First Great War. First to deal with Uruk. Attempts to stop Uruk sent out wings. I'm gonna call it the First Galactic Coalition. That's all I can remember at the moment, because we're going to have to look through all the little bits and bobs at some point and fix this up. First Galactic Coalition, which is going to be Call, Altara, Salstra, and Gnostics at first. Main aggressors, Uruk. Victory? Question mark. So did they win? Did they not? The FGC, or First Galactic Coalition. Keep that written down because I like the way that looks. Alright. That is the first Grand War. Alright. Second one is going to be insane, I'm sure. Alright. The Second Grand War. Oh, goodness. Of all the conflicts in recorded history, the Second Grand War remains the most debated, the most misunderstood, and in many ways the most disturbing. What little we know comes almost entirely from written accounts, personal diaries, religious texts, fragments of correspondence, most of them recovered centuries after the fact. The systemic records that might have told us more were destroyed in the Occitan event itself. What survived is extraordinary only in how little remains. The academic community has never reached consensus on how much of this material to trust. Some historians treat the surviving accounts as broadly reliable. On the macro level, the battles happened, the coalition formed, the megastructure was real, while dismissing the personal and supernatural details of the myths. Wait, what? That was... Okay. Academic, okay. Okay. So consistent. Others argue that personal accounts precisely because they are so strange and so okay. Academic community has never reached consensus on how much of this material to trust. Some historians treat the surviving accounts as broadly reliable on the macro level. Battles happened, the coalition formed, the megastructure was real, while dismissing the personal and supernatural details of the myth as myth, exaggeration, or the product of mass hysteria. Others argue that personal accounts, precisely because they are so strange and so consistent across independent sources, deserve to be taken more seriously. The debate has not been resolved, and probably never will be. What follows is as close to a factual account as the evidence permits. In 106 BA, the Rakal, the High Emperor of the Kal Empire, recorded in his personal diaries a dream. In it, a figure appeared to him and offered him something Rakal had long desired: immortality, godhood. By this point, the Kal were already the dominant multi-system empire in the known galaxy, a position they had held for generations. That was not enough for the Rakal. His diaries from this period describe an obsession that had apparently been building for years, a hunger that ordinary conquest could not satisfy. The dream, by his own account, gave it a direction. Over the following decades, the Rakal's behavior shifted. Resources poured into fleet expansion. Diplomatic alliances were formed with unusual urgency. Fixation on the Occitan system, and specifically its black hole, began to dominate imperial planning. No public explanation was given. The inner circle was not consulted. The Rakal was preparing for something, but the nature of that something was not shared. In 86 BA, 40 years after the first recorded dream, the diaries describe a visitor. 106 BA had a long dream. That's not 40 years. His 106th eye and recorded in his personal diary as a dream. 40 years after the first recorded dream. Does that mean it was... Yeah, it's 20 years. Does that mean 120... Did he misclick? Did he miswrite that? It might have been. 40 years after the first recorded dream, diaries describe a visitor. The accounts state that a man descended from the sky to the Krall's palace in the night. He identified himself as a sorcerer priest sent to guide the emperor toward the divinity that had been promised. From that moment, this figure became the Krall's primary advisor, displacing the entire court. He is referred to throughout the surviving diaries only as the sorcerer, never by name. Whether this man was real, a fabrication of the Krall's deteriorating mind, or something that resists either of those explanations, is a question historians have been arguing about for centuries. What is not disputed is that from this point forward, the Krall stopped listening to anyone else. By ADBA, construction began on a megastructure positioned in close proximity to the black hole at the center of the Occitan system. Oh no. Precise nature. So I feel like we're going to figure out what the Occitan event is really quickly. The precise nature of this structure is unknown. Surviving accounts describe it in terms that are more theological and technical. An engine of ascension, a vessel for the crossing, a door that only opens from the other side. That opens only from the other side? Eh? What can be pieced together from fragmentary engineering records suggests it was a project at extraordinary scale, consuming a significant portion of the Empire's industrial capacity. The other powers of the galaxy began to take notice. What concerned them was not only the scale of the project, but the behavior of the Empire conducting it. Reports from Border World described something that had no precedent in the history of Krall expansion. Civilians were being taken, not for labor, not for resettlement, they were just taken and not returned. Surviving myths, and here we are firmly in the territory of myth with no corroborating documentary evidence, describe mass sacrifices. The accounts claim that the ignition of the megastructure required triggers of specific and terrible kind. Whether this is literally true, a distortion of some other practice, or pure invention cannot be determined. What is documented is that populations disappeared from conquered worlds, and that no accounting was ever given for them. The coalition formed gradually, then all at once. Over 28 powers ultimately joined, united by shared ideology or political alignment, but by a common fear the recall of what the Krall was building, what he intended to do with them. Among them were Tyrannia, ancestor of what later would become the Grand Tyrannia and the throne of Zolsta, which assumed leadership of the Alliance and framed the conflict in explicitly theological terms. The Krall's ambition as heresy against the natural order, and his advisor or agent as an agent of something that should not be named. Altara, at the time, far smaller than today and facing a period of civil war and foreign raids, did not join the coalition. It is one of the stranger accidents of history that is an action born of weakness would eventually place Altara in the position it now occupies. The Second Grand War lasted decades. The details of its campaigns are lost to the same catastrophe that ended it. What the accounts agree is in the final shape of things, by the time of the last battle, every ally the Krall had once held had turned against them. The Krall's court had dissolved, his generals had defected or died. The sorcerer advisor by all counts remained. The final battle took place in the Occitan system. Hours before the battle reached its climax, the Krall home system was destroyed. The accounts describe a supernova of unknown origin, sudden, total, without scientific explanation given the star's age and classification. The armies fighting the Occitan were the last Krall alive anywhere in the galaxy. The Coalition won. The megastructure was breached and critically damaged. The Krall inside it. Surviving Krall was pulled into the black hole. What happened to the advisor is not reported. Then the megastructure collapsed. The explosion that followed was amplified by the black hole in ways no one had predicted or prepared for. The pulse propagated across the galaxy at a speed that defied known physics. Every FTL portal in existence went dark simultaneously. Drives failed, communications collapsed, electronic infrastructure across dozens of systems simply stopped. The Coalition army stranded in Occitan had no way home. They died there. Oh. The galaxy went silent for 200 years. In these 2 centuries, an extraordinary amount of knowledge was simply lost. Digital records were destroyed, institutions collapsed, accumulated learning scattered across isolated systems with no way to share it. The Occitan event did not just end a war, it reset the conditions of a galactic civilization entirely, which is why the calendar begins there. It is perhaps... after Occitan, before Occitan. Okay, it's perhaps the most senseless conflict in the history of the galaxy. A war started not by ideology, but not by resources, not by territorial ambition in any recognizable form, but by one man's hunger for something beyond death, guided by an advisor whose identity and origin remain unknown to this day. The Krall commanded the most powerful empire in the galaxy, and chose to spend it chasing a door that, if it existed at all, should never have been opened. The nature of the megastructure of the source of the Oxyton supernova, the identity of the advisor, the truth behind the civilian disappearances, none of these questions have been answered. The Midas Consortium claims to hold the most complete archive of the Second Grand War material in existence. Whether they've shared everything they know is a different question entirely. Alright, let's finish up the lore for today. Okay, so 106 BA. Recall. Emperor of Call. Oh my goodness, did I choose the modifier in this game to have the dark dreams that he had? That would be intense. Having dreams that promise immortality. Begin preparing. '86 BA Sorcerer Advisor appears. Oxyton superstructure begins construction. Tyrannia. Okay, so what is Tyrannia? All right. Okay. Oh crap. Second Great War lasts decades, but okay. BA. Aggressors. Second Galactic Coalition, which has the Tyrannia. Zalsta. I don't know who else is there as of yet. Main aggressor, call Empire. War due to Empire's schemes. Continues for around 80 for 8 decades. Of war. GC. Empire. Zero AA. Super. Call. FTL for 200 years. Galaxy into darkness. And that is it. So, ladies and gentlemen, any questions? Because I do believe that is everything I can find. Cool. Alright. I think that's it for today. I will try and share the complete timeline I have currently to my channel. Goody. No, that's not what I want. Okay, cool. Continue. Blah, 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 blah. Never mind, I can't do that. Cool. Well, I'll just save this until another time, so we have it saved. I cannot download it because it's funny like that. But that is Pax Astra. Alright, I'm gonna save it real quick before you go. You wake up. It takes you a second to understand why. A sharp sound cut through your mini computer's ringing. The light from the screen cuts to. Ah, crap! I should have stopped. You should reach for it. I'm gonna save this real quick. Alright. Thank you all for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, have a blessed day and a blessed life.